Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dewinta Utika Putri. I am a student of Tanjungpura University in English Department Study Program. My student number is F1021221036. So, in this today's video, I would like to give you the explanation of my answer in final examination project in the subject of ELT curriculum. First of all, I want to give my biggest gratitude for Ma'am Dewinta for lecturing us in the subject of ELT curriculum in this semester, and thank you for this opportunity to make this video and explain in YouTube about my final examination answer. So before we move to the first session, which is explaining about my first answer from the first question, I would like to give you a simple definition of what is curriculum itself. So, in education, a curriculum is like a roadmap for teachers and students. It's a plan that shows what students will learn in a particular class or during a school year. The curriculum includes goals, things to learn, how teachers will teach, and how students will be tested in class. It helps make sure everyone is on the same page and learning what they need to know. After knowing the definition, the simple definition of what is curriculum in education, let's move to the next session, which is the first question. So, the first question is what I have learned in ELT curriculum class. So, in this first question, I will give you the 5 points of what I have learned in ELT curriculum class. The first one is explore the effects of KTSP, or we can say in bahasa is Curriculum Tingkat Satuan Pendidikan Implementation in Indonesia. In this class, I've known that in KTSP have flexibility in tailoring the curriculum to students' needs, emphasis on developing practical skills alongside theoretical knowledge, challenges with potential curriculum overload, variations in quality and content due to the absence of standardized guidelines, and the last one from this KTSP part is integration of local content to link education with curricular context. The second point from the first question is understanding competency-based curriculum or CBC and character building. So, in this CBC part, I've known 3 points, which are CBC developed in Indonesia in 2004, shifts the focus to student skills and practical competencies. The second one is character development involves shaping values, ethics, and personality traits for holistic student development. And the last one is CBC emphasizes what students should learn and accomplish, focusing on specific skills and knowledge with practical application. And the third thing that I have learned from this class is examining the 2004 competency-based curriculum. So, it is developed in 2000 and implemented in 2004, aiming to replace the 1994 curriculum. In this 2004 curriculum, focusing on students mastering specific competencies assessed through observable behaviors or skills. And the last one is support for comprehensive learning, allowing students to achieve goals based on individual ability and learning speeds. And the next point, which is the fourth point that I have learned in this class, is the similarities between the 1994 curricula and the 2004 curricula. The similarities are the first one, 9-year compulsory education period, emphasis on reading, writing, and arithmetical functions, inclusion of a local content curriculum, and allocation of 45 minutes for each learning hour at every school level. And moreover, the fifth point that I have learned in this class is the differences between 1994 curriculum and 2004 curriculum. So, in 1994 curricula, it is centralist, lack standardized competencies, no ICT, multiple choice assessment only, optional thematic approach for grade 1 and 2. Meanwhile, in 2004 curriculum, It is already decentralized, included standardized competencies, introduced to ICT, classroom-based assessment, compulsory thematic approach for grades 1 up to 2, continuity of competencies across school levels, and curriculum diversification. Next session is going to be explanation from the second question. The question is compare to curricula that have been applied in Indonesia since its Independence Day. Analyze the two curricula and identify similarities and differences between the two curricula. And in this second question, I would like to give you the explanation and comparison between the 1994 curricula and 2004 curricula. So, the competency-based curriculum, or CBC, was introduced in 2004, served as pivotal shift from the 1994 curriculum in Indonesia. Developed by the National Department of Education, the CBC aimed to address the evolving needs of education in its developmental stages, known as Curriculum 2004. This approach focused on nurturing students' knowledge, understanding, skills, values, attitudes, and interests. The curriculum placed an emphasis on enabling students to perform tasks with skill, determination, and responsibility. CBC highlighted the mastery of specific competencies, covering various learning objectives expressed in a way that allowed for observation through behavior or skills. Learning activities were strategically designed to help students achieve at a minimum that required level of competency. The curriculum's essence lay in comprehensive learning and talent development, ensuring that every student had the opportunity to pursue their goals based on individual abilities and learning speed. In contrast, the 1994 curriculum emerged against the backdrops of concerns in public education. The themes included issues related to the quality of education, uneven distribution of educational opportunities, economic burdens on learners, teacher qualification, and the availability of facilities and infrastructures. Both the 1994 and 2004 curricula shared several commonalities, which are mandated 9 years of compulsory learning, emphasis on developing reading, writing, and arithmetical abilities, inclusion of essential concepts and materials in each subject to achieve competencies. The next one is implementation of a local content curriculum, and the last one is allocation of 45 minutes for each learning hour at every school level and grades. However, there are some notable differences between the two curricula are evident. And the first one we're going to talk about is the 1994 curricula. The difference between this curricula from the 2004 curricula are the first one, centralist approach. The second one is lack of standardized competencies. The next one is absence of activities to familiarize students with content and concepts, no integration of HTT yet, reliance on multiple choice assessment, thematic approach for grades 1 up to 2 recommended but not compulsory, lack of continuity and competencies, absence of curriculum diversification with syllabus development by local education authorities or school based on needs. Meanwhile, the 2004 curriculum is already the centralist approach, inclusion of standardized competencies, integrated and program activities to familiarize students with content and concept, introduce of ICT, implementation of classroom-based assessment, compulsory thematic approach for grade 1 and 2, and then continuity of competences stratification from grade 1 up to 12 across school levels, and the last one is curriculum diversification, including special and international curricula. So, this analysis underscores the evolution and shifts in Indonesia educational landscape from a centralist thematic approach to a decentralized thematic approach, competency-based, and diverse curriculum, reflecting the changing needs and aspirations of the education system since its Independence Day. Now we're going to talk about the third question, which is compared to English language teaching approaches or methods that have been used in Indonesia and worldwide. Analyze the two teaching approaches or methods, also add explanation in what situation they are useful. In this question, I will give you the explanation and comparison between the oral approach methods and audiolingual method. So, the first one is oral approach. The oral approach is about learning language by listening and speaking first, then adding reading and writing. It's good for everyday communication needs like talking in business or during your travel. This method uses clear rules for choosing, organizing, and teaching language. And second one is audiolingual method. Audiolingual method also focuses on listening and speaking with lots of repeating and practice exercises. It is helpful when you need to learn English quickly, like in intensive language classes or even military training. And we're going to move to the comparison between the oral approach and audiolingual method. The comparison is common focus. Both ways focus on talking and listening. And then order of skills. Oral approach adds reading and writing after talking, while the audiolingual method delays on these parts. The last one is how to teach. Oral approach follows clear rules, but audiolingual uses a lot of repeating of practice. And then we're going to talk about when they are useful. So, oral approach good for people who want to use the language in real-life situations and communication, such as travel or business. Meanwhile, the audiolingual method useful when you need to learn the basic communication first, like in intense language classes. The fourth question is explain curriculum 1974, 1984, and 1994, and how they are similar and different from each other. Among these curricula, which one is the best? In Indonesia, curriculum is make and be better in every curriculum. So, these curriculum might seems like they are similar, but actually they thought in different ways. The first thing we're going to talk about the curriculum 1975. In curriculum 1975 had clear goals and used different ways to teach. The second one is use ideas from behavior psychology, focusing on repeating and practicing. The next one is curriculum 1984. Curriculum 1984 changed to focus more on students. Students were active learners, used the way of teaching where students understand first before practicing. So with this curriculum, make sure that the students already understand the materials clear after practicing it in everyday education. And then the last one is included skills for doing things, not just memorizing. And the next one is curriculum 1994. Used a way of teaching that made sense and helped students communicate. And then change how time for learning was organized. And then the comparison among these three curriculum is curriculums 1975 versus 1984. 1975 had clear goals, but 1984 changed to focus more on what students needed and understanding. 1984 curriculum versus 1994 curriculum. Both focused on students, but 1994 curriculum added ways of teaching that make sense and help in communication. And then the comparison between 1975 curriculum and 1994 curriculum is that 1994 brought big changes, including how time was organized for learning. The last thing that I want to mention about these three curricula is deciding which is the best depends on what we want for schools. 1984 is good for what students need, but 1994 curricula adds ways of teaching that make more sense now. Looking at all, Curriculum 1994 fits today's needs better. It teaches in a way that makes sense now, focusing on communication skills. It's better for today's connected to the world. In short, the 1994 curriculum is better for today, combining what students need and modern ways of teaching. And this is the end of today's video. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for listening to my explanation of my final examination answer. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for all the time that has been given. I am Dewinta Utika Putri. See you in another time.